Welcome on in, guys. Welcome to Idled Out, where we talk all things Survivor. My name is Luke, and today we're talking about 5 of the strangest ways Survivor players were recruited to the show. The majority of Survivor players apply with a video or at a casting call, go through the normal casting rigmarole, and end up on the show. Others apply for another show like Big Brother or The Amazing Race, and get brought into Survivor's casting pool because they'd be a better fit. However, some players are specifically recruited by casting, who might be looking to fill a particular niche on the upcoming cast. And the way casting's found some of our favorite players can be downright strange. So today we'll be talking about 5 of the most bizarre casting stories. Now, within the hardcore Survivor fandom, the word recruit has a rather dirty connotation. It calls to mind someone who's never seen the show, who has no love for the game, and who only wants to go on Survivor to further some sort of modeling or acting career. And while that is sometimes the case, recruits can still be, and often are, big fans of the show, and generally still have to go through the full casting process like everyone else does. So let's cut recruits a break, shall we? Even still, sometimes casting goes a bit too far in the recruit department, like in Survivor Fiji when 18 of the 19 players were recruited rather than applied. Mercifully, the pendulum swung back towards casting a majority of big fans on the show, with the most recent all-newbie season only having 2 recruits. That all said, let's dig into 5 of the strangest ways players were recruited to Survivor. At number 5 is Sabrina from Survivor One World, who was cast via mistaken identity. Yes, the One World runner-up and winner on any other season that doesn't have Kim on it was found when producers were apparently Googling a different Sabrina Thompson that was already in the casting pool, but information about Sabrina Thompson, the Sabrina Thompson who eventually ended up on Survivor, kept popping up instead. Casting ultimately decided that they liked Sabrina 2 more than Sabrina 1, and ended up reaching out to her instead. In an interview with Ebony magazine, Sabrina said, basically, the producers had already chosen the contestants they wanted, but the black lady that they'd chosen had the exact same name as me. Every time they Googled that woman, information about me popped up, and they just decided that they liked me better, and they sent me an email asking if I wanted to be a contestant. Wow. While I'm glad Sabrina made it on One World, imagine being the original Sabrina, going through at least some of the casting process, getting dropped, then finding out another Sabrina Thompson usurped your position, and they did really well. I mean, if I were original Sabrina, I'd at least be rooting against my named doppelganger out of spite. But no, Sabrina played a fantastic game, easily the second best of the season. Still, I kind of wish they'd just put both Sabrinas on. I mean, I'd be fine dumping like half of this cast and rolling the dice on a rando. I guess they already had the name rivalry storyline with Tarzan and Troyzan this season, though, so it was a no-go. I mean, this did end up being one of One World's most memorable storylines. He's Tarzan, he's Troyzan. I'm on the edge of my seat over here. At number 4 is Phillip Shepherd from Survivor Redemption Island, who was recruited literally in the most on-brand way possible, roller skating in Santa Monica. In a recent interview with Entertainment Weekly's Dalton Ross, Phillip explained his casting, stating that it was here at the pinnacle of my life that one day while I was roller skating, I was stopped by the former longtime Survivor casting director, Lynn Spillman, telling me they were looking for someone 42 years old, I was 52, who was, quote, like me, and that she could pretty much guarantee me a spot on the series. Yes, it was just another day for the specialist, who says he was doing his normal roller skating routine, Santa Monica to Marina Del Rey, all dressed up in his, quote, Shepherd style, sunglasses, tank top, singing, and dancing. This is clearly before Shepherd style took on new meaning. There are a great many casting stories like this, of people being stopped while going about their day-to-day life, only to get approached by someone in casting. Johnny Fairplay was approached for the show while pumping gas at a gas station. Reynolds was approached for the show while out on a run. Mick was approached while drowning his sorrows at a bar following an argument with his girlfriend, perhaps over his fecklessness. But none of the approached on the street stories are more perfectly in character than Phillip's. It's almost impossible to envision him getting on Survivor in any other way, honestly. I mean, did you really expect that the specialist sat down and recorded a 3-minute video in some stuffy office? I mean, this is Phillip Shepherd we're talking about. Former federal agent, the specialist, a latter-day James Bond who saved America's hiney during the Costa Rica job. It all makes perfect sense to me. At number 3 is Sugar from Survivor Gabon, who was recruited from her image on a pinup calendar. This is a story Sugar shared a number of times, and every time it comes up, it just makes me laugh. In a post-game interview with Reality TV World, Sugar breaks down how she got on the show. They were recruiting people for America's Greatest Dog, that horrible show, and I do pinups for pups, which is a dog charity, and I was the cover of the calendar this past year. They Googled girl and dog or something, and then they found me for that. Then they brought me over to Survivor. Sugar actually has the name of the show wrong here. It's Greatest American Dog, a CBS summer reality show that sought to answer the age-old question, who is the greatest American dog? No, it's not Dog the Bounty Hunter, nor is it your dog. It's Presley. Now, I find it interesting that casting agents were, at least according to Sugar, simply Googling girl and dog in their hunt for girls who own dogs for their show about people who own dogs. I mean, usually those search terms are going to turn up very different results. Now, to my knowledge, Pinups for Pups is no longer around. Their website is defunct, and there's little trace of them left online. But I did manage to find Sugar's cover shot for the 2008 Pinups for Pups calendar on the photographer's DeviantArt page, along with her dog, Major P. Pants. Coincidentally, also my nickname in middle school. While this is likely not the particular shot that piqued casting's interest, it appears to have been published after the season was filmed. You can see how this might be appealing for their girl/dog show. Yeah, this is a girl and a dog. Wow, nailed it. Cancel my meetings. I'm taking the rest of the day off. At number 2 is Joaquin from Survivor Worlds Apart, recruited off of Tinder. This is another one that is just so on brand, it hurts. Joaquin, you'll be surprised to learn, had not seen much Survivor before getting cast on the show. He was not shy about this fact in pre-game press. He did, however, gloss over his casting origin story, simply saying they found him while he was on vacation. But Joaquin spilled the beans on Max Dawson's podcast All the Fixins, saying that while on vacation in Los Angeles, he matched with a blonde woman on Tinder. The next day, he received a message from said blonde asking him if he had any interest in being on a reality TV show. In Las Vegas at this point, he throws together a tape while getting ready to go out, then gets another message from the casting agent asking him to come back to LA for an in-person interview, which he did. That blonde casting agent was, unbeknownst to Joaquin at the time, Ali Povitz from Survivor Caramoan, who, following her time on the show, ended up in the casting department at CBS. Although, even if he had seen Caramoan, he probably wouldn't recognize Ali. She didn't last long. Ali confirmed all this on Twitter, saying that, quote, "We needed a man bun for the season," and bam! I love that Joaquin ended up not even being their token man bun on Worlds Apart. Strangely enough, though, Joaquin's Tinder/Survivor crossovers continued after the show when he matched with Nadia from Survivor San Juan del Sur later on. What is it about this guy and early Survivor boots? Do they all just have to stick together or something?
No one wants to date someone who doesn't make them merge.
Oh, yeah, they do. The strangest, most ridiculous Survivor recruiting story of all time is Sierra from Survivor Tocantins, who was infamously recruited at a taco stand. On its face, this may not seem like much, but back in the day, Sierra getting cast while eating tacos became both a meme before memes existed in certain online Survivor circles, as well as a rallying point for online fans for how far the show's casting standards had allegedly fallen.
I've never liked Sierra. To me, she's of no worth. I mean, her parents probably love her. I can't imagine her boyfriend's that cool.
Sierra's not super magnetic screen presence, combined with the knowledge that the show was more actively recruiting players rather than casting legitimate longtime fans, served to punctuate the following point for many. Survivor casts ain't what they used to be. You've got to recall, this was a season fresh off the heels of the first Fans vs. Favorites, where many of the fans seemed to not really have a clue what they were doing. Survivor Cook Islands, where 13 out of 20 of the players were from California, and Survivor Fiji, where literally 95% of the cast was recruited. So people were somewhat understandably worried about the future of the show. Anyway, I've gotten away from the Sierra of it all. Miss Taco Stand 2008, a pre-game interview with Reality Blurred's Andy Denhart, says the following. Sierra does not watch Survivor and was recruited 3 weeks before production began while eating tacos with a friend on Sunset Boulevard. Emily from casting came up to her and said, "You're really cute. You'd be awesome for Survivor," which strikes me as exactly the kind of recruiting that does not produce a character like Yao Man, but I digress. Sierra told me she went to the interviews for fun and to see how far you can go, and said that soon she was so far along in the process, I couldn't even say no. So, Sierra's Survivor casting is literally jokes that went too far. Side note, but I also love how this article starts out. Perhaps one of my favorite things ever written in all of Survivor blogosphere history. Quote, "I thought I liked Sierra Reed more until I re-listened to our interview, when I rediscovered how ridiculously abrasive and annoying she is. Wow, and some of you think I'm too mean." The fears of Survivor's decline would prove largely overblown. It always course corrects eventually, but Sierra getting recruited at a taco stand remains Survivor's most hilarious and most infamous recruiting story ever. Got nothing else for you. To help me get some new rollerblades, Tinder Gold, and some tacos, like and subscribe, and I'll get you more Survivor content just like this. Until next time, don't get idled out.